Welcome to True Cheating Confessions, where lies are exposed and the truth can't stay hidden. I sent my husband a sweet text, a simple line, soft, rehearsed, "I miss you, can't wait until you're home." He replied almost instantly, his words warm, trusting, "I miss you too, be there soon." But I wasn't alone when I typed it. I was lying in bed with another man. The weight of him beside me, the smell of him still clinging to my skin. It should have felt wrong, but it didn't. What I felt was something colder, a pulse of calculation, a quiet thrill at the game I was still winning. Or so I thought. Because even in silence, I could feel something watching me. A presence not in the room, but behind it, pressing at the walls of my comfort. My husband had grown quieter lately. Not suspiciously, not angrily, just quiet in a way that unsettled me, like he'd moved to another level of understanding I couldn't read. And silence is dangerous. I laughed at his message, tossed the phone aside, and turned back into someone else's arms. But that text, those words, I didn't know then they were already marked, already poisoned, already part of a trap I hadn't seen being built around me. The first signs came weeks earlier, small things. His eyes lingering too long on mine when I spoke, as if measuring the weight of each syllable. The way he no longer argued when I made excuses to stay out late. He didn't resist, didn't question, and that frightened me more than anger would have. Anger I could have handled. Anger would have meant he was still playing in my hands, reacting, bleeding out the emotions I could control. But silence? Silence was calculation. I told myself I was imagining it. I told myself men like him never see the cracks, never suspect what's right in front of them. But deep down, I knew better. He had changed, and he wasn't telling me why. I started watching him the way I thought he might be watching me. His phone left face down on the table, his laptop closed before I entered the room. None of it obvious, subtle, controlled. And control was his greatest weapon. Every day I crafted my lies, polished them, made them believable. But every day I felt them slip a little further out of my grasp. As though he was already cataloging them, stacking them neatly somewhere I couldn't see. The real shift happened the night he didn't come home. I'd texted him my usual rehearsed lines, but hours passed. Midnight stretched into morning. No answer. When he finally walked in, his face was unreadable, his voice calm. He kissed my forehead gently, as though nothing had happened. That kiss terrified me, because men don't return like that without reason, without knowledge, without leverage. From then on, the air between us grew heavier. My chest ached with every casual glance he gave me. I searched his eyes for clues, but his eyes gave nothing, only mirrors, only questions. And still I carried on. Still, I sent him sweet messages from beds that weren't ours, because the alternative was admitting weakness, admitting defeat. But the ground beneath me was shifting, and I knew it. The truth arrived not in his words, but in an envelope, left on my pillow, my name written on the front in his careful hand. I opened it with trembling fingers, and the photographs spilled out like confessions I hadn't made. Me, with him. Different nights, different places, always clear, always undeniable. My throat closed. The room spun. And beneath the photographs, a note. 5 words. I know. I always knew. I clutched the pictures, shaking, already rehearsing the cries, the apologies, the desperate denials. But when I went to find him, he was waiting in the kitchen. Calm, collected, sipping coffee as if the world hadn't just shifted beneath us. I opened my mouth to speak. He raised a hand. No, just one word. Flat, final. He slid another envelope across the table. Inside was a divorce agreement. Neat, clinical, already signed on his side. I felt the blood drain from me as I realized he wasn't confronting me, he was dismissing me. That was the true punishment. Not rage, not violence, not chaos. Silence. Control. The surgical removal of my place in his life. He didn't shout, he didn't curse, he didn't even look at me with hatred. He looked at me as though I were already gone, as though I were nothing more than a figure he had erased with a stroke of a pen. I tried to beg, I tried to reach for him, to claw at what I had destroyed. But he remained still, cold, detached. "Leave the keys," he said quietly, "and the ring." And that was all. I walked out that night carrying nothing but the weight of my own ruin. The man I betrayed wasn't the fool I thought he was. He had been steps ahead of me all along, moving silently, building his truth, waiting for the precise moment to set it in my hands like a blade. Now the silence is mine. It follows me through every room, every night, every hollow moment where his presence used to be. I wanted passion, escape, freedom. What I got was emptiness. Because in the end, he didn't need to destroy me. He only needed to let me destroy myself. And he made sure I had to watch every second of it.